Nutmeg sounds like a mix of great ideas. Take the club management side of games like Football Manager, then add deck building mechanics from roguelikes like Vampire Crawlers, and wrap the whole thing in the nostalgic vibes of 80s and 90s football. On paper, that sounds genuinely great, and I was convinced I would love it. But the reality of spending my time with Nutmeg turned out to be a different story. I didn't like it. And look, my issues are pretty specific to what I personally want from a manager game and a deck builder. Steam reviews are very positive, so clearly something is clicking for a lot of people, and if you don't carry the same expectations that I do, you actually might have a blast with it. But for me it just didn't work, and I think it has some fundamental issues. See, the core problem I think with Nutmeg is that it hasn't decided what it wants to be. Is it a full-blown club manager game, or is it a fun, exciting deck builder? I think it's trying to be both, and because of that, it ends up being neither. I had a genuine hour where the ideas felt still fresh and the game was interesting to discover, but the rest of my time with Nutmeg was unfortunately pretty dull. I kept asking myself time and time again, why am I not just playing an actual roguelike? Or if I want to play Football Manager game, why not play FIFA Manager? And that's a shame. So let's talk about what it does well, where it falls short, and most importantly, who this game is actually for. And let's start with the basics, what Nutmeg actually is. There's a career mode and it puts you in charge of one of the weakest clubs in the 4th division of English football in the 80s. You play season after season, either staying with your club or unlocking better ones as you progress. The timeline goes up to the end of the 90s, though I honestly haven't gotten that far because I haven't had that much fun with the game, plus every single season takes quite a long time. Nutmeg has only English League, so there are no European clubs or competitions. But for a game developed by a smaller studio without full licenses, Nutmeg does something quite cool. Rare player names from that era, and that's a very nice touch. During the season, you're gonna manage club finances, ticket prices, merchandise. You will be hiring staff, setting up training, trading players, and then there are actual matches which play out using your players' statistics, the cards in your deck, and quite a heavy dose of luck. Every season you also get objectives, and at the end you decide whether you wanna stay with your club or move on to a better one if you've earned enough points to unlock it. All in all, that sounds pretty cool, right? But unfortunately that's where the problems start, because the gameplay loop gets boring real fast. Playing through matches was fun for the first few games, but only a couple of months into my career playthrough, I already started simulating them instead of actually playing. Why? Well, that's because the deck building side of things is just unexciting, and variety is almost non-existent, at least at the beginning of the game. See, the whole point of deck building, the thing that makes it so addictive for so many people, is building something. Collecting cards, making decisions, watching your deck evolve into something powerful or unexpected. Sometimes a single card completely changes your run. Other times your deck more slowly comes together through a mix of luck and smart choices. And the moment that everything clicks, man, that's the dopamine hit that this genre lives on. And the problem is that this moment never really arrives in Nutmeg. And the big reason for that is that the cards are essentially single use. You get them from completing objectives, play them once, and they are gone. Your assistant coaches and training setup also influence which cards you're gonna get for every match. But honestly, most of the time you don't even have enough cards to fill out your deck, let alone build something more interesting by mixing them and evolving into something more powerful. Now, maybe, just maybe, that deck building opens up 10 seasons in, when you're managing bigger clubs with more resources. Maybe, I don't know, but that's a 15-hour investment into a single career playthrough with no guarantee the payoff ever arrives. Now, compare it to other deck builder game released recently, Vampire Crawlers. Obviously, different vibes. but that game gives you a ton of agency, fun and excitement in the first couple of rounds, which are like 20 minutes each and not like in Nutmeg 1.5 hours. So for this kind of deck building game, I think Nutmeg's approach is fundamentally flawed. So the deck building side didn't do it for me, clearly. What about the management part of the game? To be fair, there's way more depth here than I expected based on how the game presents itself. You're making actually a lot of decisions, like whether upgrading facilities is worth more than signing a new player, or whether to restock merchandise or clear the warehouse. Or do you focus training on improving skills, or just keep your players from getting injured? That sounds genuinely deep, but in practice, I never really felt in control of my club's destiny. I think the developer played it safe, too safe, which makes sense for a game designed around long career playthroughs. The result is progress that is slow and steady, but also unsurprising and unexciting. The kind where you're moving forward, sure, but it never feels like your decisions are actually driving things in a very meaningful way. The management side also has a lot of randomness with limited player agency, at least in the early seasons. For example, take the player transfer list. Every month you get a pool of potential signings, but the selection is tiny, and meaningful upgrades are very rare. In theory, you can improve this with better scouts, but early on you barely have any scout options to begin with, so it's kinda illusion of a choice. Then there is same story with training. On paper, you can develop your players, that's cool, but in the early game, your choices are so limited that it doesn't feel like you have any choice at all. So the whole experience feels like it's on rails. Not broken, buggy or something like that, just playing it way too safe to be exciting. Okay, so I've been pretty hard on Nutmeg. So let me give credit where credit is due. The aesthetics, really damn good.
What a goal!
The game absolutely drips with 80s and 90s atmosphere. The music, the retro CRT screen giving you world news updates from each season, the Panini style player cards that anyone who grew up in that era will immediately recognize. The card animations during the match and the overall board presentation are genuinely really pleasing to look at. And if you have any nostalgia for that era of football, seeing those real player names pop up is going to hit you differently. But does the presentation save the game for me? No, not even close. There's only so much aesthetics can carry the game when the gameplay loop isn't doing it. But clearly a lot of love went into recreating that atmosphere of 80s and 90s, and I respect that. So, I didn't like Nutmeg, but I want to be clear about what that means for you as a potential buyer. I think it's not a bad game. It's actually a well-made game with genuine thought put behind it. But the problem is the specific mismatch. It couldn't satisfy my appetite for deck building, and it couldn't scratch the management itch either. But if you're not a hardcore deck builder or roguelike player, and if you're more into a football manager type of a game who would enjoy a lighter, more casual take on the genre with quite pleasing aesthetics, then you might actually like this way more than I did. The 90% positive reviews on Steam suggest that most people actually do like this game. So probably my take here is the outlier, not the consensus. So keep in mind that and factor it in when deciding whether you want to buy Nutmeg or not. And I recommend that you also watch a review maybe from someone who loved the game, so you're getting the full picture. So that's it for Nutmeg. If you're new here and you're into football games, check out my other videos on the channel. We've got plenty going on with a big focus on football gaming and modding. Videos like this one exist thanks to the members supporting the channel. Here is the list of the most dedicated ones. Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.